that teams will be able to figure out the issues that they had with the tires today, and Sunday will be able to go off without a hitch?
Yeah, we were talking about that a second ago. I don't really know. I'm not sure. We just got done running, so curious to dive in and see if it had anything to do with pressure locations or manufacturer setup. Who knows? So we'll see.
It seems like when nobody was around you, you guys would come off and you would try to stay coming off to the longer strip on the top. You kind of like blend up there to get off the corner. But obviously, like when you're racing and there's other cars there, like somebody might be pinned down the bottom or something. So is that like the preferable line to try to stay in that grip as long as possible to get that exit? Like how do you think that will affect the racing?
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting because, in particularly off 4, 2, and it's a little rougher down the front straightaway. And anytime you shock the tire, going over those dips and bumps is just hard on it, and as long as you can stay on that smooth strip, the longer you can stay on it, I think you're adding longevity to your tire too. And it is the fastest way just to make a consistent, radius around the racetrack and seemingly to make pace, too. So I really don't know until we kind of get out there and see, but these things get just miserably tight behind people, too. So, I'm not sure. It might end up working out really good because I do think the top lane's you're gonna have to push the top lane up, right? And then if you make a run on a guy, you're gonna be at the outside of him, so you're gonna force him to the old asphalt. So it'll be interesting to see, but I would have liked to have seen it, done a little differently, but we might back our way into a good situation. We'll see.
Chase, on MRN, they were saying that on the front stretch and back stretch are still super bumpy. I work for the Des Moines Register, so most of our readers are not big race fans. Can you tell me a little about what effect that porpoising has on the car as it goes down the front stretch and back stretch?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like hitting a big bump on the interstate. It's just really rough. The only difference is these cars are as low to the ground as we can have them, where your street car isn't. And we're also trying to set them up to be good in the corners, and not necessarily so much going down the straightaway. So it's one thing if you have bumps on a straightaway. It's another thing if you have bumps in a corner. Loaded bumps are different than straightaway bumps for us, and that is really what dictates, the travel and how close to the ground you can be. So it's really more of a setup situation than it is anything.
Is the turn 2 bump still there?
No.
In terms of the regular season championship, obviously you guys are right in the mix for that, as you would expect to be. What can you say about what has led this 9 team to the success that you guys have found all season to this point, all top 20 finishes? What has this team accomplished this year to continue that, to be that consistent race to race?
I just think we have a really solid group, top to bottom, and everybody's been just super committed to finding that 1% each week, and whatever that is, it is. And I just think collectively we've been solid, and I feel that we haven't reached our full potential yet, and I think that's exciting, and I think that's okay too, because it's only halfway through the year, and as we all know, the way this playoff situation is now, you want to be good, in those last 10 and really like the last 5. The trick is being good enough to get you to like the round of 8, and in your mind, not be spectacular yet, and then really try to be spectacular for those last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's really just about having a solid enough base to get you through there, and then really try to hit home runs in those last few if you can.
Is there any thought of get the bad luck out of the way before that gets, because you guys have had like pretty flawless season so far? So is there like a thought of let's get the bad races out of the way before the playoffs? Or
yeah, I mean that's tough, man. I mean, you're never trying to have bad days, you're never trying to wreck or whatever. So that stuff's gonna happen. It's racing, and you try to make the best decisions that you can when you're faced with them in the moment, and some days are going to go your way and some days are not, and that's just part of the gig.
Hi, I'm Christopher DeHardy with Frontstretch.com. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like button and subscribe for some more great racing content.